Hi, so we're here today. This is an initiative from the Hospice Bereavement Program. One of our conditions of participation are that we are to offer care to people in nursing homes and staff members, residents and staff members. So that's kind of where this started, but then as I started kind of digging into how that might be relevant or what we might do, this initiative got born, and the rabbis and I got together. Now this is obviously obsolete, or maybe not obviously, because now we've got Rabbi Bell in two positions on this little picture chart here. So we're happy to have him on the hospice side joining us to do this as well. Next slide, please. So what I did was and I'm going to do what we don't typically like to do when we're doing PowerPoints, but I'm kind of read off of it, but I think it's important. So I did a review, a literature review about what's going on with, and this is good timing as you guys were talking about retention. So this can really be kind of a win-win for us, as we need to fulfill a condition of participation. We're also looking at retention, staff retention. This is kind of significant. So what we know is that most care provided by staff who are not educated in end-of-life signs or symptoms. So many of our people, our aides, aren't educated in that, in end-of-life, and that staff may not recognize that a patient that they're caring for is dying or entering the dying process. And we also know that staff that are doing those cares, those day-to-day cares, can form or potentially form significant relationships with those residents, and that their grief is typically or frequently overlooked. And also a big portion of staff report that their grief and loss is an issue for them and they want support in it. Next slide, please. And so we also know that grief support for staff is an important component for quality of care, and that supported staff can help support each other. So the more we do it with them, the more they can mirror that activity and do it for each other. And also in staff that are ineffectively supported run the risk of not properly caring, because they get compassion fatigue, burnout, and that leads to poor retention. Next slide, please. So what we're proposing, or what we're going to be working on or trying to do, is help staff emotionally prepare for the death by discussing the resident's condition and giving them kind of a heads up. This is what's going on, and this is why we know what's going on. And we know that we can't predict death, you know, when it's going to happen, but we do know what signs and symptoms are, and we can kind of tell what direction things are going. So informing key staff, including dietary and housekeeping, because they're a part of that team too, and can have some connection with the people that have died and letting them know what's happened, and allowing them to debrief right after. We'll talk about that a little bit, and also provide some follow-up support if necessary for staff members who have connected with the person who has died. Next slide. So the spiritual care team can provide care for residents, family members, close friends, caregivers, and staff. They can provide spiritual care regardless of faith or lack thereof, emotional care, and follow-up care. Next slide, please. So in order to do that, the spiritual care team needs as much notice as possible. And we're talking about people who are on hospice and not on hospice, or Sholom hospice. They could be on another hospice. So anybody in the care center, we're talking about the whole Sholom facilities. So as much notice as possible when there's a change of condition or somebody's actively dying, or notification when a death has occurred if it happens suddenly. And if applicable, if you have knowledge of a staff member that has a connection with this person that might be struggling with it, so that we can provide some follow-up care. Next slide. So another goal of the spiritual care team is to offer grief support to staff members or anyone affected, including people who are present at the death or people who have a strong attachment to the person who's died. Next slide, please. And what we'd like to do, if possible, is to perform a pause service or a bedside service immediately after a death has occurred, so that anyone that's present can take a moment to reflect, take a pause, take a breath before moving on to their next task. So it's not just this has happened, they're dealing with it, and then they've got to go on and move to the next task, which can be a challenge for them emotionally. And also it's to acknowledge the care that they've given. It's to acknowledge the life that is lived, the people that they've left behind, and that the care that's given by the staff members. Next slide, please. And then also, if they've lived there a long time and have significant ties to people, do a memorial service that gives a staff an opportunity to say goodbye to family members, gives family members an opportunity to thank the staff for the work that they've done. And what we're trying to do here is really respect and acknowledge the staff's important role in care. Next slide, please. This is just, I'm not going to go through this, but this is an example of the pause service that we've kind of come up with. And hoping that at some point, even staff members, it doesn't have to be a rabbi or a member of the spiritual team, but anybody can provide this who happens to be there, and we'll want to be able to support people in doing that. And that's a goal that we would have. Next slide, please. So it's about working together and teamwork. And what we're looking for today is, first of all, raising an awareness with leadership and coming up with the ways that we can work together to be able to provide this care. We are doing, and we want to support people. We want to support people in a lot of ways, and raising your awareness is what we're trying to do. We're doing a training on the 6th of April, and if people want this information for end of life, so it's about what happens at end of life and what that looks like and what you can do to support people. We're doing that for our staff and our volunteers, and if there are people from the facility that want to join in that training, you would be welcome to join us, and I can send out more information on that, just to empower people so that that's not such a, first of all, to let people, you can clue in on what's going on, why are they behaving this way, and then what you might do to support family and support them as they're doing that. So we've got that training coming up. I can give more information on that. And our ask is, if you're seeing something that looks like someone's actively dying, please call Rabbi Bell to come in, and we'll begin supporting family, staff, and of course the patient.